Hello fellow Hendrix enthusiasts. Today we embark on a journey to Jimi Hendrix's favorite UniVibe setting. Why do we do so? Because when Jimi introduced the effect in the late 60s, he really revolutionized the music world with it. Guitarists worldwide have pondered how he precisely dialed in his UniVibe. And today I'll unveil the setting that I have found, that I have uncovered. I'll share it with you, and of course we'll put it to the test. So stay tuned and let's do this together. So how did I approach this? Well, first I delved into extensive photo research, but the majority of the photos was blurry and unfortunately unusable. However, I was lucky and I found some images that I could enhance and finally make the settings visible. I began to notice a pattern across images of his appearances at Woodstock, at Maui, and also other performances. And there was one setting that I could clearly identify and that I could find at all these gigs. And it was volume on 10 and intensity on 6. And it's essential to note that at that time the Chennai UniVibe or Jimi's UniVibe unit consisted actually of two units. It was the main unit controlling the volume and the intensity, and on the other hand it was the expression pedal that Jimi used to control the speed of his UniVibe. So my first findings were only half of the battle. Through my research it became evident that Jimi Hendrix had also a preferred setting for his expression pedal. And this sweet spot I could confirm by numerous images from different performances. So take a look at this video of Jimi's appearance at the Dick Cavett show. He puts his foot on the expression pedal, goes back and forth, and then he stops. And he stops right at his sweet spot. To establish a connection between the expression pedal and the actual speed of the UniVibe, I needed a pristine recording of the UniVibe's pulse. And I needed a recording that was unmistakable and free from background noise. So I meticulously analyzed countless video sequences, and then I stumbled upon a scene during Jimi's appearance at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970. And in this scene, Jimi himself adjusted the UniVibe. And then, prior to playing the song Machine Gun, he struck a beautiful E major chord, and this allowed me to hear the UniVibe's pulse with utter clarity. It was the missing link I needed to correlate the pedal's setting with the precise speed. And the value that I have determined for the speed was 7. So 7 is only to translate it to a classical PODI setting. You might ask yourself why trusting my ears solely wasn't sufficient. Well, the approach that I chose was vital because it adds a layer of consistency to my research and it ensures that we have a tangible reference point for both the UniVibe and the expression pedal. Moreover, by selecting a UniVibe replica that closely mimics the sound produced by the original under these settings, I could ensure accuracy in my quest to recreate Jimi's iconic UniVibe sound or the sound of his UniVibe setting. And now the moment you've been waiting for, let's test the discovered settings. I play a few riffs inspired by the classic Jimi Hendrix UniVibe tones and then I'll share my impression and let you know what I think. Alright, let's try out the setting. I've set the volume on 10, I've set the intensity on 6, speed is on 7, and here is the first riff. So actually, in the room, the speed sounds a little faster than on the recording. But as I said before, sometimes the recordings were clouded due to bass and a drum interference and also other noises. And it seems that the intensity of how I am picking is really influencing the way you hear the speed. So you can perceive it faster or you can perceive it slower, and slower when I pick softer. That's a soft picking, and then I pick a little harder. Then you hear it, the pulse. So this is actually one way to control it, and I can imagine that Jimi during the Machine Gun intro, for example, played very, very soft, and that's why we are not hearing the UniVibe so directly. All right, let's pick a solo note, and I'm engaging the fuzz on the maximum here. We are in the bridge position, and this is what a picked note in a solo with lots of dynamic would sound like. This is actually very, very close, to be honest. Also here in the room, the sound, the pulse of the UniVibe is really, it's on point, and you can really recognize that sound that you hear on the recording with that setting. Let's move on to the next example. I always loved when Jimi started his Woodstock gig with Message to Love. That was the perfect UniVibe sound to me. So let me play some licks in the style of Message to Love. This feels absolutely authentic, and if you hear the sound here in the room, it's definitely the correct pulse, it's the correct intensity. And actually, I had many UniVibes in my life, and there was always one thing that I was looking for, and it's when I play these single notes here, especially in the song Message to Love, there is some kind of a compression going on with the UniVibe pulse. And I wonder if that is still the case when we reduce the intensity. And I'm going to reduce the intensity now from 6 to 4. And I'm not doing this because I think it's too much intensity, but I just want to make sure that intensity on 4 sounds different, and that these qualities are really in the 6 setting and not in the 4 setting or 5 or any other setting. So let me quickly reduce the intensity to 4. And of course, before I hadn't changed the setting. It was still volume on 10, intensity on 6, speed on 7, and now I reduced intensity to 4. And let's listen, let's have a quick listen what it sounds like. Well, it still sounds great, but there's definitely something missing. It's the preamp push of the UniVibe. So it seems that the intensity setting has an effect on how much gain the preamp is pushing through. And it's not super gainy with the intensity on 6, but it's just a tiny bit that gives us a little more of that pulse and of that compression that I have just described some couple seconds ago. So I've returned the intensity to 6 right now, and well, I'm kicking in the fuzz. And let's check for some solo notes. My guitar volume is on 8 here. That's the pulse. I have now switched from the chorus mode to the vibrato mode, and let's check if the setting is also valid for the vibrato mode. And I'm just playing a little bit for you. No fuzz is kicked in, so fuzz is off. I'm in the neck position, and my guitar volume is around 4. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but my impression is that I would have to reduce the intensity and the speed a little bit in the vibe mode. And maybe Jimi did that. I just showed you the clip from the Isle of Wight concert where Jimi was bowing down, and actually during the concert he was adjusting the setting. So we don't know, maybe he was playing something with the vibe mode before, but that's definitely a tiny bit too much. So let me reduce everything by 2 numbers, okay? Intensity on 4 and the speed from 7 to 5. And now just let's listen to what it sounds like. Yeah, let's try it. This could be better. I think it sounds pretty okay, at least here in the room. I hope the recording sounds okay too. And yeah, reducing in the vibe mode was pretty efficient to get closer to that sound that we know from the recordings and from the live recordings, of course. And I think that when switching to the vibe mode, the whole unit becomes louder. And when the unit becomes louder, it pushes a little bit more. So I could imagine that the intensity is louder. It sounds stupid, but maybe intensity is more intense in the vibe mode. Could be. I'm just guessing. If you know better than me, then please write it down in the comments. All right, let's kick in the fuzz. And yeah, guitar volume is on 7 here. It's the pulse from the vibe. That's actually a pretty cool solo sound. I have to keep that in mind for the next concert. I can actually not understand why there are people who don't like the vibe mode. It sounds absolutely awesome. The setting that I have found is a setting for the chorus mode. If you guys are switching to the vibe mode, it absolutely makes sense to reduce everything except of the volume, to reduce everything by 2 points, and then you are there. And there you have it, fellow Hendrix fans. I hope this journey has brought you a tiny bit closer to the magic of Jimi Hendrix's UniVibe sound, and of course of Jimi Hendrix's UniVibe settings. Keep playing, keep experimenting with the settings, with the pedal order, and of course keep the spirit of Jimi Hendrix alive. Thanks again for joining me on this adventure, and as Jimi would say, excuse me while I kiss the sky. See you next time. Bye.